Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Khaosity here, back again for a brand new video here on the channel. And today, or right now, we're going to be talking about the 7 minutes of footage that we've seen earlier today in the live stream. Hopefully you were there. Cybertron, I see you. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, a lot of concerns for a lot of people. Not so much as me, although I do have concerns, but not as many. And we're just going to go ahead and get straight into it, alright? We're just going to go ahead and get straight into it. First thing I really have a problem with in this game is the Force's assets. There's no reason, other than probably the Sonic model, that's like the only thing I'll give them a pass on, because they touched up on that and they made it better, so I'm fine with that. But it's the fact that most, if not all, of the assets, like the springs, not the dash pads, those are basically new. The springs and the rails, the bridges, are like, bro, those bridges that you see around the map are straight up like ripped out of Forces, and I knew that. You can basically see that from the first trailer, but I never said anything because I didn't want it to be true. But yeah, it's true. Those red bridges that you see Sonic walk across in the trailer is literally a Forces asset. Like, it's not new at all. The rails are literally the rails from Forces. And they just shouldn't be using so many assets from Forces, okay? You can use some. You shouldn't be using Forces assets for this entire game. You basically shouldn't. That's what I'm trying to say. And that makes you think. The fact that they're using so many Forces assets, what does the control feel like? Now, obviously, I can't say anything for sure because I haven't played the game, and I won't be saying anything for sure until I play the game. But it is a big concern that the control may be the same as Forces. Stiff, no turning. It's just bad. It's terrible. Sonic's double jump in Forces literally wasn't even a double jump. I don't even know if he has a double jump in Frontiers, but if he does, then I'm assuming it will be like Forces. And yeah, while it's not the biggest disappointment for me personally, but it is sad to see that they're relying so much on the worst Sonic game in existence to make their most ambitious Sonic game. Next thing on my list that I have a issue with is the amount of rails. Now, while I'm not mad at the rails themselves, like, don't get me wrong, like, rail grinding is like the most favorite thing that I like about Sonic, is the fact that he can rail grind. I don't have a problem with rail grinding itself, but bruh, when you litter the open world with rails literally everywhere and make that basically your only real level design, you're gonna ruin it for me. All right, I like rail grinding a lot, but when you make it the only thing that I'm able to do, I'm gonna get sick of it. Now, it looks like for at least this open area, which I'm assuming is the first area of the game, for this area, I'm assuming that this hopefully is only in this area, because if we're to believe the leaks and that there's more islands other than this first island, then the level design could change and it could vary island to island. So the next island may not have as many rails, but if we're to go on what they were doing with the rails, and the next island just may have springs or dash pads or just a lot more rainbow ring instead of real level design, which is in fact my next point: the lack of real level design. Where is the winding pathways? Where are the loop-de-loops? I don't understand why this landscape is so barren, and then you just slapped a bunch of Forces assets on it. The red bridges you see are Forces assets. The rails, the dash pads, like, there's no actual level design that's integrated into the land itself. It's all added in after the fact. Like, the things that they're using in the game, like the rails, the dash pads, the springs, the rings, those are supposed to sprinkle on top of the level design, which is why Unleashed in Gens is so loved. Because the level design itself is fast-paced and fun, and then you got all these little different things that sprinkle and add flair to it. You can't just throw in a bunch of spice and then call it a day. You don't have any meat. You have no meat. You have no steak. Like, who just eats seasoning without a steak? So yeah, hopefully the level design changes, and hopefully there is more actual level design on other islands. I don't know, man. I just hope. All right, now we're at the next point, which is draw distance. Now, this isn't really a point. This is just something I wanted to point out. The draw distance, there was a lot of popping in the footage, but I'm assuming that can be fixed. All right, like, Like, I'm assuming that can be fixed and or changed in game, because let's be real, if you're making an open world game, if anyone's making an open world game, if you don't have a draw distance setting, you shouldn't be making a game at all. Let's be real. Yeah, so I have no concerns there. I'm pretty sure that'll be fixed. All right, but on to the next point, which is the wall run from Lost World. I've seen, and I'm seeing still, a lot of people have an issue with this, and I honestly don't know why. Because all this can mean really one of two things, and it's really simple. One, we have our parkour back, probably the same parkour from Lost World, or two, we don't. It's as simple as that. Either we have the Lost World parkour, which was a good mechanic and can still be fleshed out in future Sonic games, or we just don't have it. That's the way I see it. Next thing on the list is the trick system. Again, not really a serious point, at least not yet, because they could still screw this up somehow. All right, the trick system, honestly, I'm liking what you've got so far. Okay, I'm liking what you've got so far, but the issue with that is the animations. They're too stiff and they're too quick. Sonic goes from his trick back to his falling animation in like a split second, instead of holding the pose like he would in Generations. Also, there doesn't seem to be any kind of like finish button, because as you know, in Generations, when you do tricks, if you don't finish, you don't get that last bit of boost, which is like the most you'll get. Depending on how many tricks you do in that chain, and then finishing it will determine how much boost you get. Because as you're doing the tricks, you get little increments, and if, let's say you do like 5 tricks, then you'll get like 5 tricks worth of boost once you finish. But in this game, it looks like you just do tricks and then that's it. That's like the only problem I really have with that. Hopefully it'll be fixed, the animations. But my final point that I have for this video is the puzzles. I've seen some people talk about how simple the puzzles are. I'm just gonna chalk that down to the fact that that's probably the first island, okay? It's your first time playing the game, first world's always easy, so it would make sense for them to have some pretty simple puzzles in the first area. And again, if we are to believe the leaks and that there are more islands to explore, I'm pretty sure the puzzles will get harder as you progress through the game. So I'm not even really worried about that. It's really the assets. Y'all are relying too much on forces for assets. The amount of rails y'all are using to compensate for actual level design, the lack of actual level design, the draw distance, which again isn't really a serious point. Pretty sure that'll be fixed. The wall run from Lost World, again, don't know why people are mad about that. I'm pretty happy about that. Trick system just needs to be touched up on, really, and the puzzles, like I said, they should get harder as you progress through the game. Let me know what you guys are thinking, okay? We're supposedly getting more gameplay, all right? We're supposed to be paying attention this entire month of June for Frontiers, so nothing is set in stone until this month is over, I say. But yeah, man, that's gonna be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like, and if you're new, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.